I made a video yesterday that I deleted almost immediately because I knew that I didn't word it the way that I wanted to.
It's pretty concerning when the video that you did correctly and said exactly what you wanted to say and didn't delete is potentially worse than the one that you didn't delete. Her original video that she deleted is complaining that she saw a person with a, quote, handicap parking placard, which, by the way, it is not the 90s. We are not called handicapped. You can say disabled. Thank you. But she saw a person with a disability parking placard that she claimed was perfectly able-bodied getting out of the car, because apparently you can look at somebody for a few seconds and know instantaneously whether they are disabled and deserve that parking placard or not. Now, in her non-deleted new follow-up video, she claims that there are people buying fake disability parking placards. Well, as a person who has had disability parking placards, I don't have the slightest idea where you would possibly buy one, because they definitely get validated when you park like somewhere, just like your actual like parking meter and things like that get checks. The cops will check that. If it's fake, you're getting more than just a ticket. Good luck with that. You can't just like pop on Etsy or Amazon or something like that. And maybe she's thinking you can buy it by paying a doctor, but the medical system is a lot harder than that. It is really difficult to get a diagnosis. I have several different, very painful, very fatiguing conditions, including one that literally can make me faint upon standing. I can't walk on some days more than a couple of steps at a time. On the best of days, I can struggle to make it one block. I had to convince my doctors to sign the form for a disability parking placard. If you believe the medical system actually works that way, you are absolutely beyond privileged for your lack of interaction with the American medical system. And then she goes on to name that she understands that invisible disabilities exist because her grandfather and her friend have an invisible disability. Oh, so she's not ableist, she has disability friends, disabled friends, whatever I'm trying to say. That is not how that works. Even people who are disabled can be incredibly ableist. Ultimately, disabled people do not owe random people on the internet, random people on the street, or anybody else for that matter, to get that is between their doctor and the person that is reviewing the form. We do not owe anybody else proof or an explanation. And I say this coming from a place of being a person who has had multiple people in the same day, back to back, at the same location even, question me about my disability placard because they thought that I looked fine. Well, maybe some days I look fine. On other days, I absolutely just cannot get out of bed, cannot move without a wheelchair or a scooter. There's a lot of presumptions made in assuming that I look fine because most of the time that's just simply not true. And if you happen to catch me on my so-called good days, believe me, my good day is probably still most abled people on a very bad day. It's not okay to tell somebody that their invisible disability is not valid. And the most ironic thing of all is the fact that she actually tweeted something to Whitney Cummings, who questioned her about saying that she had borderline personality disorder, and Whitney Cummings was asking if she was like self-diagnosed and whether or not this had been validated by a medical provider. And Brooke tweeted something along the lines of saying that she was tired of having to prove herself to strangers on the internet. Well, Brooke, that is exactly what you are asking everybody else with an invisible disability to do, just because you don't think that they are disabled enough for their parking placard. Well, that is not okay. And it's really weird that you can't take your own experience regarding what Whitney Cummings said and apply that to other people with invisible disabilities.